Awakening the Third Eye. Chapter number 10. A few experiences on the way. Tingling in various body parts. In this chapter we will review some of the most common experiences, sensations and feelings you may encounter while working on your eye and implementing the techniques of the book. Vibration and tingling indicate that something is activated in your etheric body, meaning the layer of life force, or PR Georgia. When meditating, if tingling takes place in your hands, arms, legs, or any part of your body, it simply indicates that some rearrangements are taking place in your energy. For instance, some channels that were blocked are starting to flow again, or a particular circulation is temporarily stimulated, or some other similar movement is taking place within the etheric body. These little symptoms do not have any significance in themselves. They come and go, and it is best not to pay too much attention to them. Let things come and go. When you work with energy, a general principle is that various kinds of little feelings and sensations will be experienced now and then. These can include twitches, little pains, seeing colors, hearing inner sounds, and so on. They come and they go. As long as they do not remain on a permanent basis, they do not mean anything at all. Take them as little releases or rearrangements of energies. Do not dwell on them, just follow your process. It is only if some of these were to come back regularly that you should take them into consideration and try to understand what they mean. If a meditation experience becomes too intense, can meditation ever be too intense? That is very disputable. In cases of high intensity, it is always best to remain very quiet and watch what is happening without reacting. If for some reason you start feeling really uncomfortable and you wish to discontinue the experience, all you have to do is open your eyes and stop the practice. Just by opening the eyes, the pressure of the experience will diminish instantaneously, and you will be brought back to your normal state of consciousness. Feeling vibration higher up than between the eyebrows. A possible experience is to feel pressure and light on top of the forehead, about 1 inch above the area between the eyebrows, around the borderline between the forehead and the scalp. The pressure and the light may be constant, even outside meditation, and even if you are not trying to maintain vigilance in the eye. Such pressure indicates that energy is being poured into your eye. It is like a chiseling of your subtle organs of clairvoyance, operated by non-physical helpers. Another possible experience is that of a saw of light in the middle of the head, in the upper part. A pressure of vibration and light is felt that seems to be working at separating the two hemispheres of the brain. All these manifestations are good signs, indicating that you are progressing. However, they are certainly not compulsory. You can very well complete the whole process of opening without feeling any of them. If they take place, just watch them. They will last a certain time and then vanish when this episode of the building process is achieved. If you want to help the process, you can try to tune into the energy that is behind the force in action. For instance, where does the pressure come from? Can you feel the presence of any being behind the saw of light, or whatever it is that you are feeling? There's no need to do anything. Just acknowledge the connection consciously, which will facilitate the task of the helper. Feeling heat. It may happen that heat is released during your practices. There is nothing negative about this. It is a common manifestation during certain phases of awakening and does not usually last very long. If you don't drink any alcohol, there is nothing particular to change. However, it is advisable to refrain from eating meat during the times of heat release, to have as pure a diet as possible and avoid spices. You can also take long showers and release the heat into the flow of running water, as in the exercise of washing hands. Bathing in rivers and in the ocean is also very appropriate. In Kundalini Yoga, a form of spiritual practice in which strong waves of heat may be released, eating yogurt is sometimes advised to counterbalance the warming of the body. The combination of work on energy and alcohol consumption is a dangerous one. This applies to any form of alcoholic beverage. It opens the door to a whole range of nasty energies and can lead to disaster. Virtually no form of protection can work efficiently for someone who drinks alcohol. See section 17.6. The breath stops. It is quite common at some stage in your meditation to get the feeling that the breath stops. Some people tend to get a bit worried about this. They think, what if my body just didn't start inhaling again? Actually, you don't have to worry, for nobody has ever died from a natural suspension of the breath. The body knows exactly what it is doing. You just have to wait a few more seconds, and normal respiration will resume. Truly, the time when the breath stops is precious. Everything stops inside, as in a cosmic standstill. It is an occasion to plunge deeper into the space and to get in touch with expanded dimensions of yourself. The pressure in the eye becomes uncomfortable. In some cases, the pressure in the eye can become uncomfortable, bordering on a headache. What happens? A mixture of different factors can be envisaged. You are grasping. It has never been suggested that you concentrate on the third eye, but just that you keep an awareness of it. Yet it is very easy, when fighting to remain in the eye, to start grasping the eye instead of being just aware of it. An unnecessary tension is generated that can turn into a kind of headache. So if this happens to you, the first thing to do is make sure that you keep a gentle awareness and do not force anything. The energy is trying to pull you upwards, and you are unconsciously resisting. From time to time, as you practice being in the eye, your consciousness will be lifted up from between the eyebrows to above the head. This is very natural and is due to the close connection that exists between the third eye and the crown center at the top of the head. When this happens, just let yourself be pulled upwards and enjoy being above the head for a while. Then come back into the eye once the experience is over. In the beginning, it often happens that you do not recognize the pull and that you unconsciously resist, forcibly maintaining yourself between the eyebrows. Your very determination to remain firm in the eye, an aspiration which is right, unconsciously makes you resist the natural flow of energy. The result is very simple: a headache. What is to be done? The answer is obvious: change your focus for a while. Move your awareness from between the eyebrows to above the head. The excess of energy accumulated in your head will be released upwards. Here is a technique to help you achieve this result. Controlling headaches. Close your eyes and become aware about 10 to 15 centimeters above the top of the head. There is a center of energy, a chakra, in this area. It is not the crown chakra, it is the one above it. One of my teachers called it the center of the hissing snake because a hissing sound can be heard when one gets in touch with this chakra. So tune into the area 3 to 5 inches above the head and spend 1 minute being aware and listening. Remember, no imagination. It is far better to remain just aware than to make up a sound. Then maintain your awareness at the same height, about 15 centimeters above the top of the head, and at the same time, utter a continuous hissing sound, s for a minute or two, a physical sound, not just a mental one. Do not only repeat SSS, but make a proper hissing, as if you were a big snake. Put all of yourself into the sound, while remaining aware above the head. Then remain above the head and repeat the sound silently inside yourself for 2 or 3 minutes. At this stage, In many cases you will be pleasantly surprised to realize that your headache has disappeared. The more you master this technique, the more you will be able to release undesirable energies upwards, above the head. Tips: a bit of tiger balm on the forehead often works very well for headaches related to energy, especially if applied at the onset. If you find it difficult to move the energy upwards through the top of the head, try to go through the back of the top of the skull instead of the middle. This area, around the acupuncture point by W, or Governor 20, is an easier way out of the head. Another way to facilitate the upward movement of the energies is to uplift the eyebrows as high and tight as possible from the beginning to the end of this practice. This technique is a way of releasing extra pressure in the head due to overpractice. But actually, once you have mastered the trick, you can use it to get rid of nearly any headache, even if it was caused by something completely different. The technique can definitely be used to control migraines of various origins, provided the patient is ready to learn to handle energies. Other possible causes of headaches. Let us look at a few other possible causes of headaches in the context of our work of inner alchemy, and therefore without mentioning the whole range of headaches related to medical disorders. If you meditate, sleep, or work on a noxious earth line, all kinds of negative symptoms may be created, including headaches. It is very possible that opening your perception reveals these symptoms, making them appear worse. It is not that you are getting worse yourself, but rather that you are becoming more aware of the energy disorder. By correcting the situation, moving your bed, or whatever, you will save yourself many troubles in the long run. Headaches may also result from meditating or sleeping close to a fridge, television, electric heater, cables, electric blanket, electronic devices, synthetic carpet, or any metallic structure that stores static electricity. Getting rid of the cause will remove the headaches. In conclusion, apart from the causes mentioned above, it is not usual to get headaches from working on the eye. If you are suffering from headaches, and if you have checked that none of the above mentioned reasons can be responsible, then it is likely that the problem comes from a completely different source than your spiritual practice. In this case, it is best to discuss the matter with a health practitioner. Dizziness. There is nothing wrong with feeling a bit lightheaded after some practices that take you far into the space. In certain states of expanded consciousness, you feel extremely light and a bit euphoric, as if you had drunk 1 or 2 glasses of champagne. However, it is not always you who are lightheaded, it is the others who are heavy-headed. Life in the common discursive mind creates a suffocating gravity of thoughts and emotions. But people don't even notice it because they have been conditioned to it for so long. As you advance, a moderate feeling of lightness resulting from your practice will become normal and integrated into your usual way of functioning. You won't even notice it. Even if in the beginning you feel a bit different, you will soon find it easier and more efficient to operate from this state of lightness. When you start working with angels, it is an absolute delight, as if you were flying in your shoes. If for some reason the lightheaded feeling was to become uncomfortable, the following suggestions would very probably restore the situation quickly. Practice the grounding exercises indicated in the chapters on protection, keeping a strong awareness in the eye and in the belly. Eating is one of the best ways to create a short-term grounding. If a friend of yours is completely spaced out after a meditation, and if there is any urgent reason to bring him back, then feed him. In an emergency, resort to heavy foods, cakes, and even meat. This is dramatically efficient, but don't abuse it. Proper grounding is supposed to come from your mastery of energy, not from a dubious diet. In the chapters related to protection, it will become very clear that the clairvision style of work aims at grounding as much as connecting with the space. Getting fed up or emotional. What is happening when you feel fed up or emotional as a result of your meditation? Your emotional blockages are being revealed by your work of opening. This is quite logical and necessary. As you try to refine and purify your system, you meet all that is unclear inside, so that you may release and heal it. These emotional blockages are like smears in your astral body. It is often by clearing them that you will have major shifts in your opening of perception. What do? Regression. ISIS, the clairvision technique of regression, has been designed specifically to solve these problems. Otherwise, some other techniques dealing with emotions can be helpful, such as rebirthing, for instance. If it is impossible to have access to any techniques of emotional release, then a lot of physical exercise could help. Gardening and working on the land are also very pacifying. Yet you should not forget that even though physical exercise may make you feel better, it does not solve any of the problems. You must go deeper and deal with the conflicts of the mind through appropriate techniques. Neglecting the work of emotional clearing is probably the major reason some people practice a meditation technique or a process of spiritual development for sometimes as long as 30 years without any real breakthrough. Hearing sounds. Hearing non-physical sounds is a very normal experience on the way. It often starts with a buzzing type of sound inside your head and slowly gets refined into the harmony of the spheres. If there are sounds in your head, just listen to them. They are a good focus for maintaining your awareness. The best area to position your awareness in order to tune into non-physical sounds is behind the area between the eyebrows, in the center of the head. When there is no energy, the energy is somewhere else. Some days the connection with the energy feels intense, and experiences flow naturally and easily. Other days there does not seem to be any energy at all, and it is much more difficult to get into the experience. It is the nature of energy to vary. For instance, around the full moon the vibration is very intense, whereas just around the new moon it is sometimes hardly perceptible. On the other hand, the purple space of the third eye, is often easier to reach around the new moon. Many other variations of the energy can be observed, some predictable, some not. Maybe one day a reliable meteorology of energy will be discovered. This should be the purpose of a true astrology. For your practice to be successful, you need to learn to sense these variations and work in harmony with them. For instance, if you are having one of those days when you are immediately projected into the purple space, as soon as you close your eyes, there is no need to waste your time fighting for clear channel releases, since anyway the vibration can hardly be felt. Rather focus on the meditation, trying to go into the space as deeply as possible. Very often, when nothing seems to be happening in your practice, it does not mean that there is no energy, but that you are looking for the energy in the wrong place. Tune in and try to get in touch with a higher layer, and you might be astonished by what you find. After sattva, tamas. To fight tamas, rajas. In the Indian tradition, all the developments of the creation are analyzed in terms of three gugas, or modalities of nature, called tamas, rajas, and sattva. Tamas is related to inertia, opacity, and cloudiness, dullness, lack of initiative, a feeling of laziness. Rajas is activity, movement, desire. When rajas is activated inside you, you start running around, chasing the things you want, very involved in the pursuits of the world. Too much rajas results in agitation and restlessness. Sattva generates pure and transparent states of consciousness, openness of mind and of perception, receptivity to the light, higher awareness. Spiritual development can be understood as a gradual unfoldment of sattva inside yourself in order to allow it to reflect your higher self. One of the basic laws of interaction of the three gugas is that after a big dose of sattva, clarity, tamas, inertia gets activated. In practical terms, this means that after an unusually clear experience of consciousness, it is quite normal to feel inert and unclear for a while. Under these tamasic conditions, it will be quite difficult to re-enter directly into an inner space of sattva. It will be much easier to have a rajas transition first, and then to look for your sattva again. Practically speaking, this means that if you feel inert and unreceptive the day after a brilliant awakening, it is better not to try to meditate for long periods. It is better to keep moving for a while. Go out, walk in the countryside, do some physical work, and try to remain as aware as possible. Then you can start looking for your clarity again. Another reason for this reactional tamas condition is that when you reach a new intensity of light, the mud in the depths of yourself may be stirred up and revealed. This is the end of chapter 10 of Awakening the Third Eye by Samuel Sagan, MD. Break time equals 2000 milliseconds. Please listen to this recording minimum 3 times for better and long-term results. If you like this recording, please comment and share it with your friends and loved ones. Stay tuned for listening more books like this. Thank you and good luck.